K0TR. Please stand by. I want to set up the repeater for net mode.
PL off.
The Denver Radio Club Net will begin at 8:30. This is K0TR. QSD from the Denver Radio Club. Welcome to the Denver Radio Club Net, being held on repeater W0TX. This is a meeting held on the air every Sunday evening at about 8:30 p.m. Good evening. My name is Jim. My call sign is Kilo Zero Tango Oscar Romeo. And I'll be your net control station transmitting from Littleton, Colorado. If there is any emergency or priority traffic during this net, say break at any pause, and the net will be suspended until the emergency or priority traffic is completed. This net is for Denver Radio Club members and all interested radio amateurs. We're here to share information concerning any ham-related activities. Regular meetings at the Denver Radio Club are held on the third Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. But during the COVID-19 restrictions, we have a virtual meeting, and we hold that on the Google system. And to get the address to that net, you can get that on our website. And if you're on our mailing list, you'll get an email that gives you that information as well. So we'd certainly be glad to have you join us. And just check that out. Our next meeting is going to be on November the 18th, and an Elmer session is held at 6 p.m. just prior to our monthly meeting. This session addresses any amateur radio questions that you might have. So whether you're new to amateur radio or interested in some new applications of amateur radio, this is a session where you can get help. Also, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., except the third Wednesday when a monthly meeting is held, there's Learning Net held on 145.490 megahertz and 448.625 megahertz. This is another area where you can find your answers for your amateur radio related questions. As a general interest club, we provide emergency communication for the Salvation Army, City Wheat Ridge Police Department, City of Lakewood Police Department, West Metro Fire District, and St. Anthony's West Hospital. We're always looking for members who would like to participate in this support. Please contact our club president if you'd like to help. Our current president is Jerry Billhauer, W0GV. Jerry's telephone number is 303-467-0223. The Denver Radio Club website address is www.w0tx Again, Jerry's telephone number is 303-467-0223. The Denver Radio Club also participates in the ARRL Volunteer Examiner Program. But again, due to the COVID-19 restrictions, we have to find acceptable locations that we can hold the testing. And so we usually wait till there's a number of people that are wanting to test, and then see if we can find a location that will provide us separation and such the capacity that we need in order to hold the testing. And we usually will post that information on our website and also try to pass that on to you here on this website, on this net. And if you have questions, you can contact our VE team lead, Tom Kashowski. His call is KC2CHE, and you get him as his phone at 720-284-1911. This is the Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, and this is K0TOR serving as net control. Are there any special announcements or bulletins for the net this evening? If so, please call now.
KA0VBA.
K0VBA. Curtis, go ahead.
Thank you, Jim. We didn't get started with studying for the general class license last week, so we're going to try again this week. This will be Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. And if there's somebody out there, one or two more, who'd be willing to help read the questions, I'd like to know and get your email addresses so I can forward you the version of the questions that we use, which don't have all the distractors. Okay, this is done on Zoom. I can read the questions myself if I have to, and I have a couple folks from Jefferson County ARES who volunteer to help, but I can never be sure when they're going to be available. So it's on Zoom. The telephone number for Zoom is 720-707-2699, and the meeting ID number is 303-424-7373. Thank you, Jim.
All right, thanks very much, Curtis, and hope anybody out there that might be able to give you a hand will volunteer and let you know. So be a good service to help other hams there try and get their license. So thank you for that. And before I move on, are there any other announcements or bulletins for the net? Please call now. All right, Curtis, I do have you checked in as well, so you don't have to worry about checking in later. Before regular check-ins, I'd like to welcome and invite any visiting radio amateurs to check into the Denver Radio Club net this evening. During this net, we disable the requirement for the 100 Hz PL repeater access tone, so you can use either 145.490 megahertz with a 100 Hz PL repeater access tone. I'm sorry. You can use 145.490 megahertz with a minus 600 kilohertz offset, or 448.625 megahertz with a minus 5 megahertz offset. Are there any visiting radio amateurs who would like to check into the Denver Radio Club net tonight? If so, please call now. All right, right, next I'd like to welcome and invite any newly licensed or recently upgraded radio amateurs to check in. Please call now.
This is KF0CBL. I'm a new ham. My name's Ed, and I also recently joined the Denver Radio Club and joined ARRL. I've been transmitting on a new old rig. It's a hand-me-down from my dad, and yeah, it's my first day participating in this activity.
All right, Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. KF0CBL, Ed, let me make sure I got that right. Kilo Foxtrot 0 Charlie Victor Lima. Do I have that right?
That would be Bravo Lima.
All right, very good. We'll get that changed. Sometimes hard to understand some of those without phonetics. So, very good. Well, welcome to the net tonight, and welcome to the club as well. And we're glad to have you join us. And don't have to be a member of the club and to take part in trying to get some help and such, but we're here. If you need some help, we'll certainly find someone. If a particular individual can't help you out, we'll find somebody that can. So that's what this hobby is all about, is helping one another. We all been through it at one point in time, so we know how important that is. Sometimes can be very bewildering when you look around and say, wow, what the heck is that all about? So hopefully if you got that kind of a question, you can pose that to one of us and make sure that we get the right answer back to you. And of course that's what we hope to do as well at the Elmer sessions that we have before our regular monthly meeting, and also the Wednesday night Learning Net sessions are very valuable as well. So very good. Again, welcome to the net, and hope you join us down the road as well. Make one more call. Have any of the newly licensed or recently upgraded radio amateurs like to check in tonight? If so, please call out. All right, we'll move on to regular check-ins. And please let me know if you have traffic when you check in, and I'll get back to you. First, radio amateurs. This call suffixes begin letters A through E, alpha through echo. Please call now.
N0 ETV, Lance, Aurora, no traffic.
Kilo 0, Bravo, Alpha, Tango, Art, and Aurora, no traffic.
November 5, Charlie, Mike, Kilo, Greg, in Denver, no traffic.
November 0, Echo Yankee Zulu, Jim in Littleton, no traffic.
Here is November 0, Delta Bravo Sierra, Dawn in Denver, no traffic.
Whiskey Delta 6, Delta Oscar Kilo, Rich in Arvada, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Alpha Foxtrot Quebec, Troy in Denver.
Kilo in Arvada.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Bravo Bravo Yankee, Roman in Lafayette.
Alpha Fox 0 Echo, Alex Brumfield. Papa Romeo.
All right, Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. N0ETV Lance, K0BAT Art, N5CMK Greg, N0EYZ Jim, N0DBS Don, and right in there I had a lot of noise come in, and it completely covered one of the check-ins said Arvada, so if that was you, I missed that completely due to that burst of noise, so might come back here in second call. Next I had WD6 DOK Rich, KF0AFQ Troy, KF0BBY Lebone, AF0E Alex, and K0DPR Paul. Make a second call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters A through E, Alpha through Echo. Please call now. And Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. KB0CHT Jeff. No, I didn't hear you. I did hear the one that tried to check in from Arvada, and all I got was a burst of noise just while they were saying their call sign and name. So it seemed like every now and then we get a blast of noise on there from something. But unusual tonight, but we'll make it. All right, let me move on down to the alphabet. And radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters F through J. Foxtrot through Juliet, please call now. W0TV, Jerry, Westminster.
Good evening, Jim. Tom, Kilo 6 Hotel, Juliet Victor, Arvada, no traffic.
November 0, Golf Tango Golf, Kurt in Denver.
Kilo 7, India, Romeo, Charlie, Highlands Ranch, Phil, no traffic.
In Hudson, no traffic.
Alpha 0, Juliet, Kilo, AA0, JK, Fred in Arvada. Good evening, no traffic.
Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. W0GV Jerry, K6HJV Tom, N0GTG Kurt, K7 IRC Bill. I had a double at that point and did not catch call sign or name, so if I missed you, that's why. And last I had A0JK Fred. Make a second call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters F through J. Foxtrot through Juliet, please call now.
Whiskey 0, India Bravo Alpha, Eric in Hudson, no traffic.
And Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome W0IBA Eric, And Eric, you might have been the one that was a double. I did hear just the back end of what could have been Hudson, so thank you for that. And let's move on down the alphabet. Radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters K through O, Kilo through Oscar, please call now.
Kilo 0, Kilo Papa Sierra, Kevin Lakewood.
Kilo Echo 0, Mike Golf Tango, Don and Aurora.
WG0N, Dave in Lakewood.
Kilo Echo 0, Oscar Sierra India, Tom, Highlands Ranch, no traffic.
Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. K0 KPS Kevin, KE0 MGT Don, WG0N Dave, and KE0 OSI Tom. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters K through O, Kilo through Oscar. Please call out. All right, we'll move on down to the alphabet. Radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters P through T, Papa through Tango. Please call now.
Whiskey Bravo 2, Sierra Hotel Romeo, Stanton, Denver, no traffic.
November 0, Tango, Romeo, Papa, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
Kilo Bravo 9er, Quebec Delta Golf, KB 9er, 2DG, Carl, Lakewood, no traffic.
And at Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. WB2 SHR Stan, N0 TRP Jim, and KB9er QDG Carl. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters P through T, Papa through Tango. Please call now. All right, we'll move on down the alphabet, and radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letter U through Z, uniform through Zulu. Please call now.
KF0UV, Marshall and Glendale.
AC0VC, Bill and Elizabeth.
Kilo 0 Yankee Echo Sierra, Ken and Broomfield.
Kilo Echo 0, Yankee Kilo Victor, Bill in Lakewood.
Net Control, like to acknowledge and welcome to the line check-ins. KF0 UV Marshall, AC0 VC Bill, K0YES Ken, and KE0YKV Bill. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters U through Z, uniform through Zulu. Please call out.
W0TX Repeater.
All right, we'll open up the entire alphabet. Radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call now. All right, there'll be a chance for late check-ins a little later in the net. And at this time, I'd like to invite our club president, Jerry Bill Howard, W0GV, go through and cover club business. Go ahead, Jerry. The net is yours.
All righty, Jim. Well, thanks for doing the net. Welcome, everybody. Well, not much club business. Been pretty quiet. Looks like we may get a little change in the weather, but boy, it's been beautiful the last few days. Only thing, just to remind you, Wednesday after next, November 18th, will be our virtual meeting. This will be number, I don't know what, since March 9 or so. Be kind of a different program. We're going to have Matt Webb on, and he's going to tell us about wildlife tracking using RF telemetry. So that should be a bit different and interesting. See how they track birds, I guess, in particular. And he's got quite a pedigree himself. So I think it'll be an interesting program, like I say, but a little different, but still radio oriented. So that'll be the 18th. Other than that, I have really nothing. Everything's been working as far as I know, and we're happy with that, especially with colder weather coming on here. So back to you, Jim. And again, thanks everybody for checking in. W0GV.
All right, thanks very much, Jerry. We do appreciate that. And looking down through my list of check-ins tonight, I don't see anybody that indicated they had traffic. This is the Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, and this is K0TR, your net control state. Excuse me for that. Does anyone have any other comments, information, or business for the net? If so, please call out. All right, one thing I'll repeat, we had KB0 VBA Curtis checked in early on and asked if there were anyone that would be interested in volunteering to read questions in a general class that he's working for those that have limited sighting or blind. And so if anyone here that would like to read some questions on a Zoom meeting that they have, he'd be glad to hear from you. So if there's anyone out there that didn't hear Curtis make his announcement, if you come back sometime now or after the net, we'll see if we can get you hooked up. All right, make one to call. Any other comments, information, or business for the net? Please call out.
N0DBS.
K0VBA with a correction.
Yes, KB0VBA. Curtis, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim, this class is for anybody, not just blind and visually impaired people, although it is done on Zoom, so it's read aloud, and so therefore it might be a little more attractive than usual. But it's anybody's welcome to the class and participate. and thank you very much, K0VBA.
Okay, thanks very much for the correction there, Curtis. I appreciate that. And N0DBS, yes, can I help you?
I would just like to say thank you to the vets as Veterans Day is coming up, and welcome home.
Well, thank you much for that, Don. Appreciate that. It's getting close to Veterans Day, so certainly appropriate. All right, one more call before we move on. Any other comments, information, or business for the net? Please call out. All right, do we have any late check-ins? Please call now. All right, I'll now review the next weekend's contests and upcoming Hamfest, but we don't have any Hamfests on the calendar here from the rest of the year, so not sure what's going to come first of the year, so I hope for the best. See whether we might be able to get back in the throw of having some face-to-face Hamfest. That'd be a nice change, but I'm not sure it's likely here for a little bit, but we'll be hopeful. And let's see, contest we have coming up this next weekend. We got W0TX contest begins on November 14th at 0 hours Zulu, goes through November 15th until 23:59 hours Zulu. That's on 80 through 10 meters, and that's an RTTY contest. Next we have the PODXS 070 Club Triple Play Low Band Sprint. That starts on November 14th at 0 hours Zulu, goes through November 16th until 23:59 hours Zulu. That is on 160 through 40 meters, and that's a digital contest. Next, we have the 1010 International Fall Contest. That begins on November 14th at 0001 hours Zulu and goes through November 15th until 23:59 hours Zulu. That is on 10 meters, and that is digital contest. Next, we have the GIDX Phone Contest. Begins on November 14th at 0700 hours Zulu. Goes through November 15th until 1300 hours Zulu. That's on 80 through 10 meters, and that is a phone contest. Next, we have the SARL VHF UHF Analog Contest. That begins on November 14th at 1200 hours Zulu, goes through November 15th till 1000 hours Zulu. That is on 6 meters to 1296 megahertz. Off the top of my head, I don't know what band that is. And that's a CW and phone contest. And next we have the OKOM DX contest. Begins on November 14th at 1200 hours Zulu. Goes through November 15th until 1200 hours Zulu. That is on 160 through 10 meters. That is a CW contest. Next we have the CQWE contest. Begins on November 14th at 1900 hours Zulu. Goes through November 16th until 0500 hours Zulu. That's on 160 through 70 centimeters. That's a CW phone and digital contest. And next we have the Homebrew and Old Time Equipment Party. Begins on November 15th at 1300 hours Zulu. Goes through November 15th until 1700 hours Zulu. That's on 80 and 40 meters. That is a CW contest. And lastly, we have Run for the Bacon QRP contest. That begins on November 15th at 2300 hours Zulu. Goes through November 16th until 0100 hours Zulu. That is on 160 through 10 meters. That is a CW contest.
W0TX Repeater.
The Denver Radio Club maintains the found repeaters for use by all radio amateurs. 147.330 megahertz with a positive offset, a 145.490 megahertz with a negative offset, 224.380 megahertz with a negative offset, a 449.350 megahertz with a negative offset, a 448.625 megahertz with a negative offset, a 447.825 megahertz with a negative offset. Our digital turbo repeater operating on Brandmeister on 446.7875 megahertz with a negative offset, and our C4 FM digital repeater on 449.775 megahertz with a negative offset. The 447.825 megahertz repeater is configured for narrowband FM and requires a digital coded sequence of 073. There are two repeaters on 147.330 megahertz. Repeater in Lakewood requires a 100 hertz PL tone, and the second repeater located east near Franktown requires a 131.8 hertz PL tone. We have a second repeater in the same frequency out east to improve coverage along the Front Range and into the canyons. However, having two repeaters on the same frequency with different propagations, it requires that you monitor the frequency to assure neither is in use prior to making your call. The 449.350 megahertz repeater provides wide area coverage, and this repeater hosts our Echolink station, W0TX node number 4140. And the 448.625 megahertz repeater is linked with the 145.490 megahertz repeater. The repeater on 449.775 is now a C4 FM digital only repeater. Each repeater requires a 100 hertz PL tone for activation, except as noted, and each uses standard offsets. And for packet, we have the 145.050 megahertz gateway on 2 meters that is interconnected with the 14.105 megahertz gateway on 20 meters for packet QSO. And we have a 6-meter repeater on 53.09 megahertz with an input on 52.09 megahertz with the required 107.2 hertz PL tone. Your support of the Denver Radio Club is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to participate in any of the many club activities, please contact our club president, Jerry Wilhauer, W0GB. And again, I'd like to put out a special welcome to KF0CBL Ed, joining us tonight on the net. Certainly welcome, Ed, and hope to have you come back and join us. And I'd like to thank everyone for checking into the Denver Radio Club net tonight. Your support is greatly appreciated. I hope you have a great week. 7-3. Tonight we had a total of 30 check-ins, and the Denver Radio Club W0TX net is now closed at 9:06, and repeaters available for regular use. This is K0TUR, your net control station, and stand by a moment while I return the PL tone to the repeater.
PL on.
And this is K0TUR, and I am clear.